Doris Day's life looked like a storybook from the outside, all sunshine, music, and romance, but beneath that polished image was a woman shaped by disappointment, resilience, and a deep sense of personal integrity. She was born Doris Mary Ann Kappelhoff on April 3, 1922, in Cincinnati, Ohio, and grew up during the Great Depression in a modest household where dreams felt fragile. As a young girl, she didn't dream of Hollywood. She dreamed of dancing. Dance was her first love, and she trained seriously, even winning local competitions with a partner. But everything changed when a devastating car accident shattered her leg and ended her hopes of becoming a professional dancer. During her long recovery, confined at home, she began singing along to the radio, and in that quiet, painful season, she discovered the voice that would make her famous. Encouraged to pursue music, she joined local bands, adopted the name Doris Day, and by 1945 her recording of Sentimental Journey with Les Brown became an anthem for a war-weary nation. Her warm, sincere voice offered comfort to returning soldiers and families rebuilding their lives, and almost overnight, she became America's sweetheart. Hollywood quickly embraced her. Beginning with Romance on the High Seas in 1948, Doris Day proved she was more than just a singer. She had natural beauty, impeccable comic timing, and a grounded sincerity that audiences trusted. Through the 1950s and early 1960s, she became one of the most bankable stars in the industry, balancing light romantic comedies with powerful dramatic roles like Love Me or Leave Me. In Alfred Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much, her performance of Que Sera Sera became not just a hit song, but a philosophy of acceptance that seemed to mirror her public image. Whatever will be, will be. Her on-screen partnerships with Rock Hudson in films like Pillow Talk defined an era of sparkling romance and playful chemistry. To the public, they were the perfect pair, effortless and magnetic. Yet her personal life told a very different story. She endured an abusive first marriage, raised her beloved son Terry as the center of her world, and experienced multiple divorces marked by heartbreak and financial betrayal. Her third husband, Martin Melcher, managed her career but left her in severe financial trouble after his death when she discovered years of mismanagement. Through it all, she maintained grace in public, rarely revealing the private toll. But the deepest wound came from the illusion surrounding Rock Hudson. For decades, audiences believed their on-screen love reflected a real-life closeness. Doris valued honesty above all else, and when she later learned that Hudson's sexuality had been carefully hidden by the studio system, kept from her while the public narrative of romance was promoted, she felt humiliated and betrayed. It wasn't his sexuality that hurt her, it was the secrecy. She believed she had been used as part of a carefully constructed image, smiling through interviews that suggested a romance she now knew had been built on deception. It wasn't what he was, she implied in later reflections. It was that everyone knew but me. That sense of being the last to know cut deeply. Even when Hudson revealed his AIDS diagnosis years later, her compassion for the crisis did not erase her sense of personal betrayal. It wasn't simple hatred, it was the anger that comes from broken trust and forced silence in an industry that demanded loyalty to illusion over truth. Doris Day lived long enough to speak carefully, but firmly, about her life. She refused to romanticize what wasn't real. When she passed away peacefully in May 2019 at the age of 97, from pneumonia, she left behind no grand funeral, no public memorial, no grave marker by her own request. It was a final act consistent with who she truly was, private, dignified, and uninterested in spectacle. Instead, her legacy endures in the clarity of her voice, the intelligence of her performances, and the compassion she poured into her animal foundation. The world may remember her as half of a perfect Hollywood pairing, but her own story reminds us that behind the smile was a woman who valued truth, felt betrayal deeply, and carried both grace and quiet strength to the very end.